again, because that's all we
Oh
know.
my God. Is that all we do
That's
here?
all we do.
Jesus.
It's great. I love it. Okay. So Connor,
Mm-hmm.
my boy here, Connor, he's recently watched the first
Hi.
2 seasons of The Flash. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Connor, and I recently watched the first 2 seasons of The Flash.
Fair enough.
Those are his credentials.
Uh, and we also have my buddy Grayson. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, my name is Grayson, and I'm that other guy that shows up here regularly.
Yeah, and then there's me, and we're the resident Flash experts. Okay, um, not to toot our own horns,
Try not to be too impressed.
we're just literally caught up on the show, and Connor is not, so experts.
Flawless.
Yes. So I have my first question up on the screen already. And it
I see that.
says, yeah, which season was your favorite, Connor? How do you feel?
Uh, I'm more lenient towards season 2, I think.
Ooh,
What?
why?
Blasphemy! What the hell?
Controversial opinion off the bat. Let's go.
Well, okay, hold on. This is unfair because there's more than just the 2 seasons, obviously,
Yes, just of the
and
ones
I've
you've
only
seen.
seen the 2.
Yes.
So I think I like season 2 more because there's been a lot more character development than
Yeah.
in the first season IMO. Because like
Okay.
not only had we been introduced to Zoom and Barry's kind of rendezvous with the Speed Force entity, kind of mimicking his life in ways,
Yeah.
but like not only just from the character development, but like also how the stories played out. So it's just nice to have that progression because I think season 1 was a little bit slow. It,
Okay.
it was it was like it wasn't bad. I don't think either of the seasons were bad. It's hard to even say that season 2 is better because I found them both entertaining enough. But like I just think that season 1 was a little slow to kind of showing how things would work out.
Yeah.
But season 2 kind of made it easier to like understand and work with.
Uh,
Jake, which one did you like better?
uh, at this point, season one has a special place in my heart. It's just so cute, and like CSI Barry is most prominent in that season, and I love that stuff. He's like an actual detective.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just, and like the way that they did the end credit scene after every episode, that gets me every time.
Oh,
Wells,
does that not happen in season 2?
no, they only did that for season one, um, and then they brought it back a little bit in season four, but I don't want to spoil anything, so we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, please don't.
um, but yeah, they never really do that kind of stuff, except for that one season, which is whatever, I guess. But it just it's special to me. It's got something that the newer ones don't.
That upsetties my spaghetti.
Why?
Because I love season 1, and I feel like having that little teaser at the end of every episode is really nice. And it's been so long that like I haven't even noticed. And maybe that's why they got rid of it, because nobody noticed.
Yeah.
I thought season 1 had a lot better of a story because it was clear and concise, and the first season of every show is prepared that it may not come back.
That's
So
true.
it tries to wrap up its loose ends. Like it starts somewhere and it ends somewhere. And they leave just a little bit of room for more shows to come down in the future. And
Uh,
then as you like progress through a show's life, it's I don't know, they're like, yeah, we'll get another season. We'll come back.
there is that scene at the very end of the first season where he runs into a fucking black hole. All right, I don't know
Yeah.
how. Mm.
Yeah, that was when that came up. I was like, "Excuse me, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
But like,
that's a
they
reasonable
kind
reaction.
of they kind of covered it in the pilot of season 2, but like,
Like, yeah, even then,
it
like,
was still extremely vague.
this is probably a season two issue, but like the explanation, I didn't catch on until like fucking like 6 episodes in that they had explained it even. Like I just
Yeah.
missed it. Um,
Wait, what? They explained it?
they explained
Yeah.
the black hole, yes.
Yeah.
And like Ronnie dies in the black hole, but like they
Yep.
don't tell you that
They
really.
don't tell you that. You just
It's
kind of figure it out.
yeah, it's like
Because Caitlyn just gets super sad, and then nobody sees him or brings him up. So like you kind of just assume that he deading.
I love this
But
camera
then
work by the way.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks. Don't even mind it. I'm trying to make the angle better, and it's only gotten worse.
You were doing good for a second there.
it's just doing 360s now, so it's alright.
Oh god, I just need a good angle, guys. Come on.
There'll be one
Stop
day.
making fun of me. I just want to be one of the
But
guys.
yeah, that Ronnie stuff is probably not their fault because the actor wanted to leave.
Mm,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He had that movie The Duff come out around then,
yeah, he
and
was
that
doing a
did
lot of things.
really well.
speaking of, I was browsing through Netflix and I saw that. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And
Keep that away from me.
yeah, just put that in my do not watch later list.
Oh, rip.
Thanks, Netflix.
Ah, that's rude.
What happened? Headphones. I can't hear anything you guys are saying right now. I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
fix
fine.
my
We're not
audio
saying
machine.
anything.
Christ.
Hopefully.
Do you have anything to say other than anything else on that topic, Miss Yor Conair?
No, not really. I mean, I'm kind of sticking with my season 2 is a little bit better than
That's
season 1.
that's fair. I know people that have that opinion.
Oh,
Oh no.
I'm
Oh no,
oh,
you've been demolished.
yikes.
Well, we're gonna hope that
This
he
is gonna
comes
go
back
bad.
and that he doesn't switch cameras
Yeah, he
with you
slipped in my
because
face cam.
yeah,
Hold on, which
it's
side do I have to go to? I have to go
the
to
other
not
way.
this side.
Yep.
You go.
Okay.
Yikes.
Rip the
Alright, just gonna
overlay. Goodness.
nice.
What a dick. All right. He's gonna make
Do
me
we want to
fucking
go to the
edit
next
this
question?
VOD. Yeah, we can start it at least.
Okay.
The question is, who was a better villain? Was it Reverse Flash?
Or Zoom.
You're getting ahead of me. I need to type it out as well.
Oh
Or
wow.
Zoom. Done. Oh no, it goes off the box.
Oh wow. This is the best.
Oh,
Don't worry, the
there. I
podcast
fixed
people
it.
don't even know it. The podcast people don't even know it. It's
Right.
okay.
Okay, I fixed it.
Oh wow, that goes off the box.
Yes, it does.
Okay. For character arc, because I'm big on character arcs. I find them to be kind of more helpful when it comes to getting the show,
I'm
like kind of like getting an interest in the show and building like the need to watch the next episode.
it's mostly the purpose of watching a television show, right? Like if you wanted to
Yeah,
watch like a character go through 2 hours of development, you'd watch a movie. If you wanted to watch a character go through an
yeah,
entire season's worth of development, you'd watch a
yeah,
show.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So when it comes to trying to get that development, oh hey, I
Oh,
don't have to
good.
lean 200 kilometers over anymore.
Welcome back.
Yes. um, but again, my my thoughts on that is think I'd prefer Reverse Flash. I don't know if I would say they're the better villain, but I would still say that I definitely enjoyed how that entire first season played out for his character
Hmm.
and how it affected Barry and obviously the rest of the crew there. Zoom was great. Obviously, a lot more people were affected by Zoom than just Barry being kind of tormented by Reverse Flash, but uh, it's definitely a change and better villain. Are we talking like more evil
No,
or
no,
are we
no, not at all. Like
talking
just which one you've had more enjoyment out of watching, right? Who grabbed you more? He's gone again.
yeah, he's dead. Um
That's what happens when he messes with his setup. God damn it.
right? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Um I think I had some more enjoyment out of Reverse Flash.
I agree with you 100%.
Because as good as Reverse Flash is as a villain, I think Zoom was like, obviously he was way more of a challenge because it had to, push Barry past limits. And he's back.
Hello.
But like that, yeah, that was a green flash there. Yikes! But yeah, I think as much as Reverse Flash was a good villain, Zoom also kind of beats him in certain aspects.
He's like just a crazy dude, right? He's
Yeah, he's a serial killer
mhm.
that just has the Speed Force and has gone from wanting to kill just people to destroying and taking over planets. So,
Yeah.
well, not planets, multiverse Earths. Correction.
Yes.
The planet
Oh my
obviously is the
goodness.
difficulty. Oh my god. Okay, whenever he leaves, I have to like lean way over to the right, and then whenever he comes back, I can sit normally.
uh,
Uh,
but yeah, I think Zoom has his strengths, which are, being super cool to look at and super,
yes.
um, you know, Baney in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like his whole army of Earth 2 metas, which is neat. Reverse Flash
Yeah.
was just a dude, but I think that made him a lot more relatable.
Of
Like
like
you,
a reasonable, yeah, like a reasonably decent villain
yeah, like
because you could, yeah, obviously, like you're not just gonna grow a posse one day that's all willing to do your bidding just because you'll kill them. So like, obviously, Reverse Flash is a little bit more relatable in that sense. But like, yeah, I think they were both good villains, but I could like understand Reverse Flash's ideology better than Zoom's.
yeah, like I think that makes him a compelling villain is good motivation. That's like
Yeah,
easily my
yeah,
most important factor,
yeah.
and I definitely think Reverse Flash does that better. Um, I don't know where the hell he went.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what
He did write a message. He
Yes.
said Discord broke and won't recognize his headphones. So
Yikes.
looks like we're gonna be losing him for the rest of the fucking
Ah,
stream so early in the
oh
podcast
my
slash stream here.
goodness.
Yikes.
Maybe we take a break while we fucking switch things out, because I don't want to go too far ahead and then have him like, okay, what I miss. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm okay with taking a break.
Okay. Hello, we're back. Everyone's
Whoa.
fine. And it's great.
Now,
Nah.
now.
Uh, what is your opinion on Zoom versus Reverse Flash, Grayson?
Zoom versus Reverse Flash as villains.
Yes. Not as fucking people.
Um, yeah, I mean, they had their ups and downs. Zoom showed the potential to love, but then Wells also found himself almost being like a parental figure. No, um, I don't know. Reverse Flash has no growth. He's definitely I constantly outsmart the team. I'm your foil and you can't beat me kind of situation.
That's
Um,
fair, actually. I didn't think of that. But I do think he has growth in the second season when he's chilling and like you see
Dead. Oh.
him come back originally, right? Like the first time that he was in Star City, and he's like the plot of that episode.
yeah, that still confuses me because there's like a whole scene where Reverse Flash goes back in time and talks to Gideon, and it's like, Gideon, who am I? And I don't think that ever gets addressed.
I don't remember the scenes specifically. I'll be honest. So
I don't either, and I just watched them. So like,
Did you see that scene too?
like
Is that a season 2 thing? I'm not like mixing it up.
I don't know actually. I remember him. I know. I'm pretty sure he comes back in season 2, and it's an episode where he is getting the doctor lady to make him a tachyon accelerator or something. I can't remember her name.
yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, the Mercury Labs lady, the smart,
Mhm.
the owner there or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And he gets her to build the tachyon accelerator or whatever it is, so he can go back in time and then Vibe, otherwise known as Cisco, him getting the accelerator made and then still killing her anyway. And then he then remembers the fact the clock is like ahead 3 hours, and then they have to basically figure out where they are in those 3 hours. And yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably the post-credit scene, or like there was a post-credit scene where it flashes back and Reverse Flash is like talking to Gideon on, I'm pretty sure it's the night that he's going to kill Barry's mother, something like that.
Mhm.
And he's like, Gideon, who am I? I don't remember.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, and now that these are all being brought up, I feel really damn bad about it. But like, I haven't attempted to look for anything past any beginning of the credits for this show.
Rip. um, that's interesting.
I mean, like,
Uh,
clearly they aren't
yeah.
like plot changing things. Like, it's more of like a hint to the next episode, obviously, because that's usually how shows would go about it. But like,
More or less.
yeah, no, I haven't really put any effort into that. As soon as the credits roll, I just next
It's not
episode.
normally really post credits. Like it's just like the last scene
Yeah.
most of the time, but not all
Oh,
the time.
okay. Maybe. Oh well.
Ultimately, I liked Reverse Flash better.
I did
I
too.
liked the fact that he's a big foil. Zoom felt back and forth, and he was just a crazy guy. Didn't have much of a motivation.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Reverse Flash really like has history with the character, and yeah,
Yes.
it's a good time
He has a
watching
lot
him.
more character and motive than Zoom ever did. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Zoom had character in the fact that he was like serial killer boy because his past with having to go to the orphanage because that whole incident.
Yes.
Because not sure what the TOS is on Twitch, but I don't think I should mention it.
I don't even know
um,
what you're trying to say.
He just
his
got
whole
abused.
backstory, Zoom's backstory.
That's all
Yeah,
fine.
there's a lot of abuse.
That's all legit.
Yeah, let's just say it's just abuse. And then yeah, that whole build up of his character, like yes, he did have a bit of character added, but like it was mostly just I'm a serial killer. I want to take over your Earths and then kill them all and leave this one to be the only one. So
Yes. Next up we have what? Who do you think is your favorite character? We'll start with that.
Snowberry united as one.
Yikes.
Mind melded.
Exactly. Favorite character in seasons 1 and 2.
Yes.
It's probably Harrison Wells.
Like that's a broad statement. There's a couple of those.
Yeah.
Harrison Wells as Reverse Flash.
Okay, so that's Eobard Thawne, Wells of Bard,
Yeah,
if you
Neil
will.
Barthon. And then I'm assuming that means your season 2 is the actual Harrison Wells.
Well, it can be someone who
Uh,
wasn't in season 2 at all.
Or do you mean
Yeah.
like your only favorite character within those 2 seasons was Neil Barthon?
Yeah, he was Eobard as Wells. I feel like the actor that's like the blonde Eobard isn't actually as good.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I'm
even in
pretty on
season
the fence
2,
about who I like.
even in season 2, Wells
Well,
is still a very strong character.
yeah,
Yes.
I think so too. But yeah, you can pick a couple if you want, Connor. No quarries against that.
Season 1, Caitlyn is definitely a big one, but that might just be sex appeal.
It's mostly just sex appeal.
And like she's a
Um,
modest character too. It's just she's a very
no,
cute girl.
she's a really good actress. Yikes. And it's like she's overall enjoyable to like see her character develop. So she's not bad,
Mhm.
but like don't think I would say she's my favorite character.
It's definitely not Barry.
Yeah, no,
I
because like Barry is too easy of an answer.
He's too protagonisty. Like,
Yeah,
guys, I have this problem. How are we gonna solve it?
That's
yeah.
fair. Run, Barry,
He's just
run.
like the easy answer. Yeah, run, baby, run. Every time I hear somebody say that, like when this, like at the end of for the majority, the major plot of this season 2 was when he went to the Speed Forcing Cup, and like as he was going back, and Iris was like reaching through Cisco's like wormhole kind of tunnel thing.
Yeah.
He turns around and his mom's just like, "Run, Barry, run!" I'm like, God, fucking, like really, you're going back on this line every single time he
Uh-huh.
needs to go do something with himself. It's just like, really, come on.
They might have
And then,
overused it a little bit.
and like I've been like, once Iris was like kind of leading towards the fact that she liked Barry in that season, because I don't know what goes on in the future, and I know that in season 1 she didn't. So like
Mhm.
within season 2, her character has kind of like been pushing towards liking Barry, and I'm just like, man, y'all just need to kiss already. They had like 5 scenes that they were this close to macking, and I'm like, really, really,
Hmm.
Oh, I have like a question to ask you.
go.
Does that like weird, yo, we were raised as siblings, but we're not siblings get
I
to you at
mean,
all?
it's like pretty yikes, but like at the same time, it's
Who at CW got to choose that storyline?
I think it was like, oh, maybe we should have these characters grow up together, and then maybe we should have, I don't know. You can't have Iris and not be like, yeah, that's potential love interest.
Yeah,
So
that's the
yeah.
thing. The
yeah, I
only
don't
thing that
know.
makes it less weird is that they were like 5 or 6 years old, I think is the plot,
Yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
think.
they
So
they,
they
they were
were
very young,
established
and then
people.
Barry kind of had like a thing for her already through public school or whatever they were in,
Yeah, he had a
Mhm.
crush on
and
her.
then he had to go live with her for the rest of his life. So
Yeah,
yikes.
really.
Yeah, those feelings were already there though. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, she's my
So
sister,
yeah, it's not
and
it's not like they sprung up. Oh, she's my sister. I gotta smash. Like, so yeah,
Christ.
it's at least it wasn't just oh yikes. I gotta keep the bloodline going. It was
Jesus Christ. It's not Game of Thrones, it's The Flash.
yeah. So I'm
Game
kind of
Flash.
just glad it wasn't, like I'm brother sister. But I mean, they're not the worst couple, and I kind of be excited to see that grow. But I kind of do agree it's a little weird, but it's also not that bad.
Yeah, that's fair. It is an odd
Anyway, back
choice
to the
though.
actual topic because we
Yes,
got off on that. I think Cisco might be the most relatable to me
that's probably my answer too.
because he's like he's a really chill dude, but he knows what he's talking about, and like he knows how to get shit done when it needs to be.
Hmm.
Captain
So
Cold's pretty good too.
Captain Cold's pretty awesome.
I agree. He's a good character.
uh, but obviously he wouldn't. I mean, other than his character, he wouldn't really have his chances and success if Cisco didn't build the weapon. So like, as
It's
cool as
true.
his character is, he kind of did rely on Cisco a little bit. Let alone he also got his sister that gold digger weapon
'Cause she's a
by
gold digger.
yes.
She's a she's a glider, perhaps even. That's a bit of a
uh,
stretch.
that was a pretty big stretch. But like, I think Cisco just has a really big part in most of the plot for both of the seasons so far.
Hmm.
I say so far in my sense because obviously I haven't watched past it. Um, so he's had that really big role because not only has he been helping Barry and figuring everything out alongside him, but he's also now as the vibe been able to really push the like progressive storyline
Hmm.
rather than it just being, hey, I'm here to sit in this lab and help you out with Caitlin all day. It's now, hey man, by the way, some dudes are getting robbed. I have an app now that lets people update you on where metahumans are attacking and doing dumb things. So he's definitely really started to pick up his pace. So I think
Mhm.
Cisco is going to be my number one,
My
at
favorite
least for
part, my
now.
favorite part about Cisco is just his comedic relief factor, probably,
Yes,
and the ongoing gag of him naming all the villains, because that's
yes,
hilarious.
it's still funny.
Yeah.
Can hold on. I can see this and least favorite character on my screen here.
Yes.
I need to cover that. I
Okay, go
really
for
need to
it.
cover this. Joe fucking West.
Ooh.
Oh wow, that's different, man.
What's
Okay.
wrong with Joe?
Okay, it's not that he's a bad character. I don't mind his
Okay.
character. I just don't like what the directors and like script people have done to his character. Because all he does is sit there and play the dumbass in the corner.
That's
Like,
yeah, that's
he
fair.
That's
In
just
fair.
season
he
2 he
just
does do
chills
that.
there, and
Totally
then like
fair.
Barry and like Harry and everybody that's actually part of the team, other than obviously Joe's part of the team, but like every original character of the team is all just like, oh, super smart science stuff. We need Barry to go faster, and like they blatantly say what they need to do, and then Joe's like, okay, but like, what is that? How do we do that? It's like, oh my fuck. Like, I get he's a transition character, and he's supposed to like let everybody else describe what it is to the
Mm-hmm.
people who are at home and don't get what's going on.
Mhm.
But like, my God, is it ever just so blatant and bad the way
It
that he's
is
just like,
bad.
what is this? Like,
You're not wrong, and Barry had issues like that too. That's why people get pissed off that Barry's constantly going to the team saying, "Guys, I have this problem and I can't solve it." It's
oh
because
my God.
Barry's also like a genius, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Everybody in the
absolutely.
show is always a Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry are all geniuses.
yeah.
So they already are pushing their luck by making Barry like ask dumbass questions.
Yeah.
So Joe really has to hit it home with like, I guess he's the switch guy because he's just the normal average dude.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's supposed to be, right? Is just the viewer if they don't understand what
Yeah.
they're talking about.
Yeah,
It's like Joe will
exactly.
be the one to ask for you,
Yeah.
right?
Like, I completely understand his point when
Mhm.
he asks those things, because, like, sometimes I'm just like, okay, wait, what did they just say? I don't want to rewind it because I know Joe's going to ask. So, like, I don't have to, like, go back 20 seconds to figure out, like, what they were talking about in that instance, because, like, maybe I got a text or something and I was just distracted for that few frames that they were brought up the conversation. But, like,
Yeah.
my goodness, they
Like
make Joe West bad.
nobody should be like the HM slave for any one character trait, you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Nobody should be the guy who asks the dumbass questions all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's like I could understand if it was like every so often they piped up like just some dumb question. It's like, okay, but what's like a proton accelerator? Like that makes sense. Like what's a tachyon? That's okay because not a lot of people know what those things are. But like everybody else on the team does, so it's okay that they're trying to explain it to the dude who's just a detective and that's about all he does. But then like he asks the same question every other episode basically. Like they'll bring up, oh, Reverse Flash is using this tachyon thing on his chest to charge up his suit when he's not in it and stuff. And then he runs super fast because of it, but then he has to chill out after a while, right? And
Yeah.
then they take that off of his suit and put it on the Flash's for that one episode. Hashtag skip over to Supergirl.
Yes.
um, and like that's cool, but then Joe's like, okay, but like what is it? And it's like, man,
In
we
English,
already went over what
please.
tachyons are 3 times in that entire season, and now you're doing this shit. Like,
Mhm.
so like I get his character, I get why they do it to help the audience, but like if you as an audience member who is basically omniscient in the sense of the entire world don't understand what's going on, you just weren't paying attention because they also explain it well enough just on the quote unquote scientific side when they're not just blabbing big words.
Well, also, not
Uh,
every viewer watches every episode, right? Like, there are people that are just, oh,
yeah,
hey, the
yeah, yeah,
Flash is
yeah,
on, and then they tune in for one episode, and they're like,
yeah,
not even sure what's going on. So it's
yeah.
important to have that amount of accessibility
Yes,
and, just able to jump
yeah.
in and
There
jump
are
back
pros
out.
and cons, but I mostly just hate his character because they only make his character the dumbass.
I get that
Like
for sure.
he's
Mhm.
a detective and he's been doing it for his whole life that we know of anyway. Like since Iris was a kid, I believe. Because he was a detective at relatively the same looking age as he is currently when Barry's mother passed. So like
Yep.
True.
he shouldn't be an idiot. Like he's been detecting for at least the 15 years I think it was since his mother died. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was something
It
around.
must be over 20 years because Barry and
Probably.
them are in their
Yeah,
20s.
Well,
yeah.
no,
So
it'd be that just makes it like 15,
well,
10 maybe.
yeah, because if he was about 5, 6 when his mom died and he had to move in, then 15 years later puts them at 20.
Yeah,
So
and he was an
I'm pretty sure
officer
it was about.
before that.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. He was an officer before that, during that, and currently. So like, he's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing, and he's the best at his job. So like, come on.
I think
Yeah,
Joe
that's
shines the most when he's in his father figure role, right?
yes,
That's the best
definitely.
Joe out there.
That is the best Joe. I love that Joe because like the father figure wisdom dude is great, but
Yes.
my God, they make him dumb as hell every other time they're bringing up science, and it's shit. Like he would have such a beautiful character, story arc, everything if they didn't just kind of make him dumb for 2 minutes
Hmm.
every other episode. Like,
I hear that. Jake, what about
yeah.
you? Least favorite character?
You go first, because I know what you're gonna say, and I'm excited for it.
No, I want you to go first.
I'm not sure. Like honestly, it's a hard. I don't think that way when I watch the show, right? Um, I guess it would be. That's You see, I really don't know. Like I'm trying to think and go through characters here, and like I was thinking maybe Killer Frost, but like I don't hate her. She's just
She's
Killer
just a
Frost is
bitch.
pretty bad.
in season two. It's like
Yeah, there's no like
she's just kind
character
of
for her.
throwaway
She's just
villain.
a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like eh, I don't really care. Um,
Yeah.
but even then, it's hard for me to say that because like I saw the potential even, right?
Yes.
Because that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The concept
I
is
mean, like,
neat.
oh, you, hun, stop. All right,
uh,
Grayson, shoot it.
Ah, I have said this many times, and I don't know what it is about tonight, but I don't have a passion to like shit all over it. So I just am exhausted by having to say constantly that I really don't like Iris. I feel like Iris is the worst character on the show. Oh my god, in season 1 her who she is so flip-floppy. Like her motivations for wanting to advertise the Flash. It's like, okay, so she's curious about this streak, right? And suddenly she cares about it so much she wants to put her life in danger. So it's already
Yeah.
questionable. And then she's telling, I think she tells Barry first. And Barry's like, "Yo, you shouldn't do that. It's dangerous." She's like, I don't know, something about the
Yeah.
people need to know. And then Barry, as the Flash, goes and talks to her in the same
Yeah.
episode, and she says something like it's for journalism or some other BS. It's like a total 180 on what she was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't the best push for
yeah,
her blog, but
so her motivations are very all over the place, and then she really just feels like she's there. Like she's not really that important. She doesn't even play a sisterly role.
mhm.
Like they grew up as kids, and the whole concept is she thinks of him more as a brother because they grew up together.
Yeah.
Which, even if Barry has those feelings, go back to the creepy incest level of stuff. Even if Barry has those feelings, if she grew up with him and considered him a brother for that long of a time, you'd think she would be super, super off put by the way he was feeling.
hmm
Even if it's not weird for him to feel that way, it'd be weird for her for him to feel that way. But anyway, she really feels like she's just there and doesn't offer anything. And in season 2, I'm pretty sure she's still just there. I don't think she takes on any big team dynamic roles, if I'm not wrong. Jake, you can
uh,
correct me.
she does join the team,
Yeah, she
but
joins the
yeah,
team.
she's more of like she kind of takes over what Cisco was in the sense where she kind of just exists and helps out in the lab background kind of area with Caitlin.
Yeah.
Because then Cisco obviously becomes Vibe, and well, correction, he learns that he's Vibe and
hmm
then understands his
Mhm.
powers. So then he starts becoming more active and actually being out there, and then Iris kind of joins in on the lab side, but she doesn't take that much of the sisterly thing, but at the same time, that's season 2 is when she starts being all like lovey-dovey towards Barry, correction.
Yeah.
So it's
I definitely think
it's
she has
it's
like
not.
a big character change even from the pilot to the second
Yes.
episode. Like that's a
Yeah.
completely different character. And
Yeah.
then throughout that season she's like changing a whole lot and she's reportering, I think. And that's I
Yeah.
think her best there is reportering. And then in season 2, I'm pretty sure that isn't mentioned a whole lot. Her reporter
Yeah.
side. And then she joins the team because she finds out the secret, which I think
Yes.
could have even been put off. Like you could have left that for a later time. I definitely think they
Mhm.
could have done Iris better, especially in the earlier seasons. Like she has that
Mhm.
scene where she's like, oh, Oliver Queen, he's totally on my list of dudes I'd fuck instead of my boyfriend, and that's just,
Right?
that scene
Yeah, and she's
rubs me the wrong way.
engaged.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's engaged to Eddie, and she's just
Yep.
like, "Yo, dude,
That
Green Arrow, time to put my
yeah, that's another
booty."
big one. I totally forgot about that.
yeah, that's the scene that rubs
Yeah,
me the worst about her
So
character.
I
she's
hated that scene.
engaged. She's engaged. She's
Yes.
talking to Barry. There's this whole arc where Eddie's like, deep down, I always knew that you loved Barry. I just hoped I could love you enough that you
Yep.
could love me, right? And
Yes.
that's when the Reverse Flash, spoils the future for Eddie.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
it's such bullshit. And then there is an episode where there's this weird he goes back a day and manages to kiss her, but then it's all undone.
Hmm.
And it's like,
Yes.
Jesus Christ, woman, what kind of a mental state are you in that you're so like loose with your commitments to who you're supposed to be in love with?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird
So
thing.
she's also just a shitty person.
Yeah. And then like
Iris is
Barry
just
got
not a
all
cool
worked up
person.
about the fact that he kissed her in that one timeline, that when he did go back, he's just like, "Oh shit. Dude, she totally likes me," because he literally found out that she liked him in the alternate timeline, and then kind of like went off on that tangent and then just got lost in it because he thought that he could get that same info out of her, but obviously the situation not being the same, it didn't come through her head that she did.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, Barry, you're a dumbass. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So
So yeah. Anyway,
All right.
shake my head.
Next up,
Iris is the
estimated my
worst.
next up, we got your favorite, and then also least favorite episode
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
I know which one mine is.
from the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
That's
Season
impressive.
1, mid-season.
That's the man in the yellow suit, right?
Yes, it is.
That's a good one. That's fair.
And it's all because of that big fight scene with Reverse
Hmm.
Flash.
That's a good one.
It is probably my favorite fight scene.
oh,
That
is
really
that the
shows off the
one?
potential of the show.
I can't remember. You'll have to remind me here.
It's
Is that
the
the
football
one where they're
field.
fighting around? Oh, the football field.
Yeah, the stadium fight, and then
Yeah.
do
Okay.
they
Yeah,
catch
where
him in
they're
that
chasing
episode?
after each other.
Yes. I think
Okay.
that's their first meeting, even.
That's like their first go at it.
Yeah.
Well, first he sees him and kind of chases after him and catches up, and then obviously Reverse Flash kind of just like looks over at him and is like, "Oh shit, lol, Barry's here," and then fucking out.
Yes.
And just goes like thrice as fast as Barry's going. He's like, "What the fuck? How the boys speed so fast?"
Hmm.
And then so like that was like Barry's like, "What? I found him. The hell?" And then yeah, then they have that meet up kind of football diamond. Whoa, that was wrong. Football field.
Football diamond.
Football diamond. Yikes. Football field kind of like battle, if you'd call it that, which it really wasn't, but
It was more of a
they, they,
wipe the
they still had a
floor.
tussle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wipe the floor with with Barry. um, but yeah, like it was a good episode.
Hmm.
I don't know if I could really say I have a favorite and a least episode though, because I found them all to be entertaining.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll say I have a least episode,
What's
least
that?
favorite, and that's the one where Iris said that she'd smash Oliver Queen.
You know what? I'll say that one too, because I don't have one other than that.
They're like,
But I
bitch,
like that episode
please.
because isn't that the one
It's a
where
crossover.
yeah,
Yeah, it was the
Oliver
crossover, so it was very good. But
yeah,
like,
that one
Iris
scene.
fucked the episode, bruh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, one of my least favorite episodes is definitely gonna have Iris in it. So
So all of
know,
them.
Oof.
yeah, whenever she like has more than a couple lines of dialogue,
Oof.
Yikes.
it has nothing against Candace Payton. Like, she's a good actress. I don't think it's her fault. I think it's how the character was written. So
Yeah, that's reasonable.
yeah, that's not on her.
Okay.
Even though it's hard to separate the artist, the art.
Um,
Oh.
I think my favorite episode is I really loved at the time that episode, the finale of season 2, where
Yep.
Barry runs off into the
They,
fucking
yeah,
back in time.
he makes his time remnant, and the the time remnant continues to run around the loop,
Yes.
and then Barry himself kicks Zoom's ass, which was exhilarating to watch.
It was crazy
Uh,
shit.
like it went off, and I'm like, oh shit, he made a time remnant, pretty cool. And then I kind of like at the same time understand how time remnants work. I still don't, because like he goes back in time to kind of persuade his past self to go back to his current time with him, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like as much as I get that, I really don't, because like obviously if he went back in time to his past self, then he wouldn't be having that fight, because he would then become the past self, and he would just die at the end of setting the thing off, basically, and then
Yeah.
changing its polarization of the whatever the hell.
The way I
But, like,
understand it is it's like a hiccup in time.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like kind of like cutting audio in any
yeah,
editor, right? Now
yeah,
you've made this little gap, but the thing's just going to keep playing on.
yeah,
So you scratch up the timeline.
yeah. As much as I get it, I don't, and I hate that, because like I was, well, minded the new season because I haven't started watching that, because obviously school and watching the Flash now.
Yeah.
But like I was major Doctor Who fan, so like I understand every aspect of time travel and messing with timelines and stuff. So Flash has got me down on lock with that, because like it's easy to wrap my head around, because it's just one dude every maybe so often, twice a season, that he messes with something, and then it changes a little bit. But like Doctor Who was every episode time is being messed with, and it's just like, okay, I can understand this, and then the Flash does it maybe that once or twice, and it's like impossible to wrap my head around, because like he does the time remnant stuff, and I'm like, okay, what? Like you're like, when Zoom first shows off his time remnant stuff, he's just like, hey man, you want to help me mess with Barry? Can you like let me kill you? And his time runner's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then he chases after him, and then he kills himself, but he doesn't die. And I'm like, okay, what? Oh, whatever, man. And then Barry does it, and then Barry goes back. He's like, hey, man, I'm fighting Zoom right now. You want to like run around this ring and then like run backwards around the base of it and like just die for me real quick? And then Barry's like, yeah, sure, why not, fam?
Let's do
Sure,
it.
hand me the aux cord, right? Like, I loved that episode. It was an amazing episode, and I loved the whole finale to the season. But like, the time remnant stuff just messes me up, and like, I kind of just suspension of disbelief, obviously, because I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna get rid of my enjoyment of a show just because like I don't understand the time remnant. But
That's
What bugged
reasonable.
me the most was actually the wraiths that came in
yeah,
and took him away in the end.
yeah, no, I was expecting some like not character changing, but like an I don't remember the word. Like an unexpected. There you are. Action from Barry to like kind of kill Zoom, or just like really mess him up, like beat the life out of him, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he literally just killed Barry's dad, and
Yeah.
just kind of threatened to kill everybody in his friend group who was currently just standing off to the sidelines watching, and
Yep.
then also intended to, well, has destroyed Earth, well, his Earth 1, and was about to destroy every other Earth but Barry's, so that he could then take over Barry's Earth, which was already in the like midst of being destroyed with all the metahumans running around. So like he's done 3 major things to just Barry himself, and I'm just surprised Barry didn't take that and just kind of kill Zoom on the spot, rather than mess with the timeline by bringing the time remnant and then getting 2 Wraiths out of nowhere, because why not more than one, right? Like
Yeah.
to just appear and wisp him away. So I was like, I was iffy on that ending, but at the same time I didn't think that they would just take Barry and make him destroy Zoom just because he did some bad stuff. But
Well, it feels like victory's taken away, right? Like you just defeat him,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
the wraiths
You just destroyed the man, and like you could just take his life. Like he could literally just into his heart, and that'd be game over for Zoom, right? But instead, he just kind of chills there and like, I won this time, Zoom, and then Race just in and Dementor his ass. So I was
Yeah.
like,
That's the
like
big issue.
I
Is
wouldn't
that
have.
he's just taken away. Like Teddy Cruz was a good
Yeah,
actor, and it
yeah,
would have been nice to even see him go into the prison and like maybe he becomes that one prisoner that you go to. He had weird Speed Force stuff going on.
yeah. Like
Ted
Like
he
Cruz
had,
is a
right
like I
out of
mean,
that.
politician.
he was just V9
Oh,
hyped,
then
but like
I don't
who's
remember.
the
It's
actor?
Ted something. You're close.
Oh, okay. He broke out of the power dampeners and his eyes went
yeah,
like black.
yeah, exactly. So like he's got some crazy Speed Force stuff going on, which would be really cool to learn, obviously, because Barry needs all the help he can get, and the only real help he can get is from speedsters. Mind you, he does get plenty of help from Harrison Wells as actual Harrison Wells.
I love that ending though because it had some
But yeah,
sick
that
nerd
ending was really
Easter
good.
eggs, and it tickled me.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
uh,
Speaking of villains, uh, oh god, I fucked up. Who was your favorite villain that wasn't like Reverse Flash Zoom so far?
I mean, Grayson's already covered this, but Captain Cold.
hmm Wentworth Miller
I
does a
think
great
Captain
I
bad
Cold,
think
job.
man.
I think he was very decent. Like
Yes.
that, or before major plot changing end of season 2, where Gloves Supersonic Boy got pissy.
Hartley,
Yeah, Hartley.
Pied Piper, yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He was a pretty interesting super villain.
Yeah, I think it's Captain Cold Easy. Or
Captain Cold easy
I
though.
I
Yeah,
love the Trickster too. That'd be a close second for sure.
Trickster was pretty cool. Yeah,
Mark Hamill does an amazing job.
Mark Hamill. What? Yikes, dude!
He
When
was
I
the
first
trickster in
learned
the
it was
original
Mark.
series too.
Yeah,
Sorry?
He was
in the
Trickster in the
original.
original series too.
Yeah, it's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Jake first told me that it was Mark Hamill playing it, because like he's recognizable, but like only really by the name at first, because like his character is just so different from Luke Skywalker. So I was like, oh my, that is him. What? What am I watching now? He went from space fights to like being crazy in a cage.
I mean,
So
I recognize his voice immediately because of Joker stuff, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also been in lots of stuff that I've watched recently. Like he was in Criminal Minds as a fucking season arc villain, and it was hilarious.
Hamill does a lot of stuff like you
He
wouldn't know.
does, yeah. He goes hard.
Does and like now he's just super political online. Same with Jim Carrey, like a lot of
Yeah, I
good old
know. I know Jim
actors.
Carrey has a history of that,
Yep.
which I think is
Um,
is a not bad thing, I guess.
no, it's not a bad thing. It's good to know what's going on in your country.
Yes.
I think if I didn't choose Captain Cold as my favorite villain though, because he's so good.
hmm
Um, again, it's just gonna be one of the sex appeal villains, either Killer Frost or Golden Glider.
That's fair. Golden Glider played the third rendition of Poison Ivy on Gotham. So, with that in mind, maybe go watch Gotham.
Yo, okay, can we get
It's not
some
what I thought you
Bittersweet
were
on
gonna say,
Gotham,
but
please?
TOS.
I'm in. I'm in. Uh,
Bittersweet on Gotham. Let's go. Gives
hell
me a
yeah.
reason to watch it.
Yikes.
I'm always down. That show is gonna be great this last season.
Oh yeah, it's like next year, yeah?
It's soon,
Oh
very
damn.
soon.
It's
But
been a long hiatus.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. What is your favorite high moment, and then also in the same vein, low moment of each of the seasons?
I got one.
Go for
If you want to go for it, I have some time to think.
All right.
it.
Low moment is definitely when Barry has lost his speed and given it to Zoom.
Hmm.
So they try to recreate the experiment
Yeah.
and he gets vaporized into the
That
Speed
shit.
Force.
Oh my god,
Oh,
Harrison
that was
Wells, I
good.
don't feel so good. Yikes, dude. When that shit happened, I'm like, well, Barry's dead. Like, I actually like messaged Jake through our Discord of like me ranting about the superhero stuff, which is in the channel name. Where I literally just post about the Flash as I watch stuff.
Yeah.
So as soon as it happened, I'm like, Harrison, I don't feel so good, and like rip F and chat for Barry, and then not even I think it was maybe 40 minutes later or something when I got through like the next episode, I'm like F and chat for Barry's dad now FML like it
Yeah,
was
really.
it was some pretty crazy times at the end of season 2, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I think because my outlook on life is you can't have high points without low points, so yes, losing the speed and all that was bad, and then getting vaporized was also kind of shitty for everybody else. But like once they realized that he was still alive, he was just in the Speed Force.
Hmm.
Uh, yes, it was a low point for Barry in particular, but I think the high point was when he came back and wasn't only just optimistic off his ass, but like he was also like super hyped up and just felt like on top of the world, which I think his character also needed
Hmm.
because he's been bottled up with everything with his mother, with soon to be his father, and like just all of his friends and family that have not only died just because everything that's been going on, but like also naturally, obviously, and just relationships that had to go like Patty, um, and other things like that, right? Like all the metahumans he's had to deal with over the last season and well, 3 quarters at that point. But like he's had a lot of shit go down in that year or two that it was,
For sure.
and like that's some crazy stuff to kind of keep down under the rug. And then Speed Force kind of helped him deal with all that and push it all in the past, which yes was low point, but at the same time it was really necessary for his character to continue because otherwise he'd kind of just be like a depressed puddle of mud. Like he wouldn't be that like useful of a character if he was just constantly upset with himself and doubting himself. But
Hmm.
he really needed the confidence boost of the Speed Force to like pick him back up. So yeah, I think at the same time as it being a very low point, it was also a very necessary lead up to a high point. So
Yeah, I think seeing super optimistic Barry was really fun. It was a good episode. I think it was just one.
I think watching him fall from being so optimistic was really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Watching that the whole father die
yeah,
scene was hard, especially because he was like, "Nothing can hurt me," and then Zoom takes him
and
out.
then Zoom
Yeah.
literally kills his dad.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yikes, man! Like he was like the only real family, blood family that he had left, and Zoom literally just swept them up and fucking yiked him. Like,
Really,
uh,
man.
that was like that. I'm a pretty big like suck up when it comes to like father son relationships and shows, and like because like my family's fine, my dad and my mom are completely fine, but like whenever I see something that involves like the son being like good enough for the dad to like be like, oh, I'm proud of you kind of shit at the end of the movie, like something like that, or dad dies or son dies and one of the two have to deal with it, bruh, does that hurt? Like I literally tear up when that shit comes up, and I don't know why, because I've never had anything like that IRL. But like, oh my god, is it heartbreaking to watch? Like, yikes! And
I
like
get that too.
the characters were so well like versed in how they acted with that loss, and it was just amazing. Like, yeah, you had the funeral and everything where Barry kind of bitched out of speaking his eulogy or whatever they're called, but like it was still a good reaction, I think, because he kind of like shoved everybody away, but that's just a normal human thing to do. It's not like that's just Barry's character.
Hmm.
Everybody on the planet, when they lose somebody, is more than likely just gonna like push everybody away for that bit and take their time, because like that's literally life-changing shit. So
Yeah, for sure.
it was a very low point, but obviously you can't have a high point without a low point. Thusly, end of season 2, Barry goes back in time and fucks the entire thing up. Nice. Nice. Oh my god. It was like, what, a 5-minute clip? And I literally just kind of sat there face palming. I'm like, Barry, you
Don't do it.
fucking idiot. Like, oh my god.
I think it could have been. Well, you'll see. No spoils. No
Yeah,
spoils.
we shouldn't
Obviously,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Please don't.
Different time.
Please don't.
Jake and I
Next
think, have
time.
different
I'm
opinions, but
sure.
I think the show gets worse with each season.
Fuck.
That's my take on it.
Time to stop watching.
I think it's
Also,
worth the
I
watch
think
for sure, at the very least.
this season has a great start, though.
Hmm.
I mean, all of them do, I guess.
Considering we've only seen the first episode, it's a little early, but I have
Yeah,
high hopes nonetheless.
like season 3 has a good start, 4 has a good start, and
I'm
5 has a
excited
good
to
start.
watch the lead off for season 3, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I figure that he's gonna have to go back in time and reset the whole "I saved my mom" thing, because like, come on, man, like that was a pretty selfish choice right at the end of season 2. Like that's kind of cliffhanger material, and I'm over cliffhanger materials by now, but like that was just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a show kind of do. Not in the sense that it was like a bad writing decision. I'm sure it kind of leads up towards the plot of season 3, but like, like, come on.
Hmm.
Out of anything you could have done to like really mess with the current standings of the show, it's, oh, I'm Barry. I'm going to be selfish because I can run fast enough to go back in time, and I'm going to change everything just because I decided right now I wanted that. Like,
I think most people would have done it the first time, though.
yeah, because like, but he
Yeah.
went back and he literally opened the door and chilled out and watched himself say, "No, don't go," and then that whole fight led out of the room, and he walks in and gets to like close off with his mom, which was big. Like that was really big for Barry because he never had that closure, but now he
Yeah.
gets it. And then he goes back in time and fucking ruins it. Like
They
he
I
doesn't
think
give
it's because he
himself the
loses
closure
everything.
either.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He
like he
loses his
loses
dad,
his
and
dad,
there's nobody
and
to tell him not to.
yeah, it ruins it for him. Obviously, like mentally, like you just lost your entire bloodline. Now you're the last bit of it. But like going back in time and then stopping yourself from stopping yourself, like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It was. It's just too much of a cliffhanger, I guess. Even though it isn't really a cliffhanger because they kind of tell you what he did by going back in time.
Hmm.
Because he comes back and uh no, that was a different part of the not that episode.
I don't know.
The one time where he's going through and like the wraiths and stuff, and then
Yeah.
tells him to you have like a year to figure out how to deal with this wraith thing, and then he comes back and they shoot it with the frequency shit from
Oh
Hartley's
yeah, that was
gauntlets
cool. That's a
because
good
he's
episode.
actually on the team now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. That makes sense. I guess he changed the timeline, so that's cool. And then he goes back and just fucks everything up now, and I'm like, I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. So it wasn't the worst thing they could end off the season with, but it definitely wasn't the best. I mean, I'm sure it leads into plot of season 3, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the show is right now, you know the upcoming villains though, right? Like in
no.
season.
Oh,
Oh, you don't.
I think there was mention of another speedster. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because
So I
there
don't
was the
consider this
chick that was
spoilers.
getting like hyped up on V9 that Barry defeated by jumping over that massive bridge, which didn't make sense to me, but I can talk about that later. Um, uh, But yeah, I don't think I remember the potential new speedster's name. I think it's a girl, but I can't remember.
No, there's a new speedster. There's a guy who's very smart, and
Good.
in the most recent season we have a guy named Cicada, and he's supposed to like drain people's power in a way to like make
Okay.
himself stronger. Um or like their life force, I suppose.
We have no idea yet, to be honest.
We haven't seen
All
the
right.
show. I'm just going off of like brief things I've read in
Mm.
like news reports. But I would really want to see at this
That's
point where we are, I want to see another speedster.
That's
I want
a
Godspeed.
controversial opinion. I should have won Godspeed. That would not be good. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna move on to closing remarks. So does anybody have anything they want to get off of their Flash season 1 and 2 collective chests?
I want Godspeed.
uh,
I don't. He's just Punisher. But like his whole twist was that
He's
yikes.
he was a
fast.
close friend of Barry, and I don't know
Mm.
how well they
Yes.
would be able to do that on the show because they've done that many times already. So I
Yeah, they
don't
have.
think it would be any good.
Just 2
Yeah.
seasons.
Hmm.
I want Patty back, and I want them to marry.
Oh,
That is
that
it.
cutie. I
That's
remember
fair.
Patty.
Mhm.
Oh well, I guess that answers my question.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, no, Patty's adorable. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, she should come back 100%.
Hmm. I agree. She's
she was a good character. It wasn't like just they were cute together. It wasn't just like she's hot overall, but like she's really nice and she's like a good
Dude,
character. And
you have no idea. Patty was my chance to get rid of Iris, and the writers
right?
didn't go for it. Oh,
Yikes.
Rip.
heartbreaking.
And then like I can when she was leaving because I don't know how much you guys remember about all this because it was season 1, I believe.
2.
Was it the beginning of 2?
Patty was around for 2. Yeah, the beginning of 2.
Okay. But when she goes to leave to be whatever she is in whatever city, because I can't really remember. Um,
It was CSI in comic book reference city.
okay. When she goes off to do that, she kind of like was really upset with Barry because like she kind of figured he was the Flash, but didn't have, but like he wouldn't tell her
Yes.
even though she was leaving because he didn't want to because he was like, well, if I'm not going to tell you if you're going to leave, kind of thing.
Uh
But obviously he didn't say that because that would answer it. But like,
huh.
but like he was hinting towards the fact that he wouldn't answer unless she stayed. But he wanted her to go and move on and live her life the way she wanted it to be lived. So he pushed her away in that sense, which I can understand. But she still didn't have her closure. So when she was on the train, she called Barry saying, "Hey, there's a dude with a gun," and then he's just like, "Okay, I'll see what I can do." Hangs up, and then Flash appears there in like the next scene.
Yeah.
And then Patty's just chilling there, and he comes in. He's like, "Hey, is everybody okay?" And then Patty's just stands up behind him on the phone, hangs up on her end, even though the call would have been over 20 seconds ago, and and she's just like, "Yeah, we're fine here, Flash. You can go home now." And then she kind of is like tearing up, and you're just like, Patty, shut the fuck up. So
That's pretty much just her I needed to know moment.
yeah,
It's
it was her
cute.
closure out of the whole Flash being Barry and all that, which was cute. But like, if he didn't want you to know, stop trying to find out. Like,
I suppose.
yeah, like, because like I don't like. There's certain secrets that obviously need to be kept, but like relationship wise, obviously you don't want to have secrets. So like I can understand him telling her something about like his past or something, but telling her that he's the Flash when they aren't dating is kind of like a big iffy on my end. Like that's like literally your life,
Hmm.
and you kind of just like, yeah. By the way, I'm the dude running around at the nearly like Mach 3 right now, so don't mind me. Like, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty big name drop, and it's like she kind of pushed a little too hard for it. Like if she really wanted to know, she would have kind of given up on that life change, but I understand why she didn't give up.
Uh-huh. I hear you.
I think it was both a poor choice but a good choice to kind of understand their relationship, even though it's fucking over apparently.
Yes.
Yikes.
Um,
I'm upset now.
I'm sorry.
Well, time to go find out what other show she's in.
Nah.
Do you guys have anything you want to shout out before we end it?
I want to shout out SyncroChamp on Twitch TV and Twitter
Thank you.
Yikes.
at SyncroChamp.
Uh-huh. I'll shout out Grayson E. James at twitch.tv/Grayson E. James and
Oh, I fucking hate that
I'll
guy.
shout
Why
out
don't you shut
twitter.com/Grayson E.
up?
James.
at Concrete1998 on
Yay!
Twitter and Twitch. Yay!
Woo!
I don't
Uh,
use Twitter. Don't follow me.
I'd also like to mention that our Sick Bittersweet podcast is going to be on iTunes and Google Play any day now. So look out for that. Yay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Even though we gotta cut out like 15 minutes of this VOD
We gotta
again.
edit it, and that was the whole purpose of streaming it, so we didn't have to edit it. But I'll give it an
Yep.
edit. Sweet.
That's okay. Don't
Yeah.
even worry about it.
I'm not stressed. I have time.
We have plenty of time. Nothing
Yep.
to do in school except for AI, which is due next week. Whatever it is. Anyway.
On that note, goodbye. Thank you. I love you.